Well, it has been a while since I've shared 16-minute recipe ideas with you. I think Grover Cleveland might have been president at the time. Anyway, it's been a while. Well, if you are a fan of super fast dinner ideas, you are gonna love the recipes I'm sharing with you today. The first one is quintessential deliciousness, queso steak salad. Yes, it is one of my classic salads where lettuce is pretty much obligatory. I just cooked 2 really thin ribeye steaks and they are gonna feature prominently in the salad. While they rest on the board, I'm gonna get started on the queso, which is just classic, a can of diced tomatoes and green chilies. And then once that starts to heat up, I've got my good old best friend, cubed processed cheese. Alrighty, I'm gonna stir this around. And you'll notice that I put the queso ingredients in the skillet that I cooked the steak in, so it's gonna be infused with all that steak deliciousness. And I'm turning the skillet to low, that way the cheese will just slowly melt in with the tomatoes and green chilies. And then by the time this is all melted and bubbly, everything else will be ready and I can drizzle this over the top. Okay, I'm gonna let this keep melting and I'll start working on the rest of the salad. I've got everything pretty much ready to throw together, and I'm gonna start with the dressing. I have the juice of a lime in this mason jar, and I'll add some olive oil. And then I'll add a little bit of sweetness by adding a little bit of agave, but you could also use honey if you have that handy. I'm gonna add some salt and pepper, and good amount of chopped cilantro. Such a classic flavorful dressing, always fresh and zippy. I absolutely love it. This is why I like making salad dressings in mason jars. I don't have to get a whisk and emulsify it. I just use my arm, get a little exercise, do some reps on the other side. Okay, that's the dressing. It looks amazing. Now I'll go ahead and dress the greens, and these are just mixed greens from a box, really simple, just ready to use. And I'll drizzle over, not all of the dressing, but probably 3/4, and then I can always add more later or serve more on the side. And then I'll give the greens a toss. And this is one of those main dish salads. You don't need anything on the side at all. Alrighty, the greens look fantastic. So now I'm gonna go ahead and dice the steak. You can cut it into strips, you can cut it into dice. Heck, you could leave it whole if you wanted to really make a beefy statement. And to cook these ribeyes, I just heated some olive oil and butter in the iron skillet and seasoned them with salt, pepper, and steak seasoning, just really simple. And when it comes to 16-minute meals, these really thin steaks are so amazing. I probably cooked these steaks in about 2 minutes, so it doesn't really add a lot of time to your recipe making. All right, look at this beautiful diced steak. Oh my goodness. And yes, the lettuce is merely serving as a foundation for all of this steak. It's probably the same amount volume-wise. And you want the steak everywhere, on the sides of the platter, on top, and then I think you know what's gonna happen next. I'm gonna go to the queso, give it one more stir, and it is bubbly and perfect, and it kind of makes me want to cook a steak before I make queso from now on, because it just got all of that steak seasoning that was left in the pan. And you want this to be super, super hot. And yes, you guessed it. The queso goes over the steak, and you want to do this at the very, very last minute. So kind of have everything assembled and ready, and then wait until everyone's ready to eat. Then you do this absolutely ridiculous drizzle of queso. All right, one more little drizzle, and then I will serve the rest of this on the side with extra chips. Now I want to put a few little fixins on the salad. I've got some sliced avocado, which is always delightful and kind of brings back the salad component of this salad. And then I'm gonna sprinkle over some pico de gallo, which is really lovely every single bite will kind of have the juicy tomatoes and cilantro and jalapenos. And you can buy store-bought pico de gallo if you prefer, and it'll save that step, or you can just crack open a jar of your favorite salsa. All right, the very last thing that goes on top, I've got some blue corn chips, and I'm just gonna crush them and drop them all over the salad. Yes, my idea of a salad may be different from your idea of a salad. On my salads, I like to put steak, cheese, and tortilla chips. Not always, but definitely for this one. And then just for fun, you can kind of add some whole chips around the edge if you want to. I just think this is such a celebration of everything that's wonderful about Tex-Mex recipes. Well, here it is. What do you think? This makes me very confident that I could, in fact, eat nothing but salad the rest of my life. A 16-minute marvel, if you ask me.